How Delta Force captured Maduro
Yeah, the situation in Venezuela.
from a heavily fortified base inside Venezuela and examined the massive 150 aircraft air campaign overhead.
Nicolas Maduro having to go to court here in the United States in New York.
It's a long walk to face the wrath of American justice for...
Most people would say, who gives the right? I mean, why would one president go to another country and remove another president and bring them to justice?
And then we'll look at who's actually in control of the country now. The first thing you need to know is the American raid really started 4 months ago.
Walk to face the wrath of American justice for Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cilia.
Yeah, I understand how most people may feel. You know, when it comes to this situation, I feel like it's mixed opinions or mixed reviews. Most people feel like, no, he should not do it. Like, why are we policing the world? We're not the world police.
Really started 4 months ago with what's called Phase 1 shaping operation. Secretly inserted on the ground into the country.
Dressed in matching tan prison uniforms, they're led in handcuffs from a chopper, headed to their first court appearance, surrounded by heavily armed federal agents.
And Trump did say he was not going to be starting any new wars, or we're not going to be trying to control what is going on in other territories and other parts of the world. We're going to focus on America, you know, the America first type of stuff.
It was an all-hands-on-deck operation, getting the captured first couple of Venezuela from a detention center in Brooklyn.
They created intelligence packets that tracked Venezuelan President Maduro's movements down to the hour.
You know, we're going to put America first and focus on what is going on within America.
And they operated a fleet of stealth drones that sent constant live updates, professionally stalking his position.
From a detention center in Brooklyn to federal court in Manhattan. The early morning odyssey began with the Maduros loaded into an armored truck, then transferred to an SUV.
Every other part of the world could worry about what's going on within that part of the world. Trump did campaign on that kind of speech. He did say that when he was running for his presidency. But if you are telling me that, I understand where you're coming from. That's true. But
stalking his position. The clandestine operation developed what's called a pattern of life, which is fancy intelligence speak for what we would call a daily routine.
To an SUV, then to a helicopter for the brief flight to lower Manhattan.
Intelligence officers narrowed down Maduro's location to Fort Tiuna military complex, the large base that lies just south of the capital of Caracas, where 3 million people live.
But things change and people change. Just kind of like when Zoran Mamdani met with Trump, and Trump was saying, you know, I know Zoran Mamdani is saying all this socialism talk right now, but he will change. I changed. Trump said he changed, and Zoran Mamdani, when he finds things being thrown on his path, he's going to have to bob and weave. You know what I mean? When I say bob and weave, I'm not saying just change your mind. Like, people think they know what they want.
Map posted by top Trump aide Stephen Miller's wife Katie shows Greenland covered in a U.S. flag with the caption, "Soon.
We need Greenland."
On Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, in the dead of night at 2 a.m. local time, the U.S. government gave the green light on Operation Codename Absolute Resolve. The U.S. military launched a wave of targeted missile strikes all across the capital city.
Sometimes the words throw you a new curveball and you have to take another turn. So that is exactly what Trump means when he says people are going to change. He changed, and Zoran Mamdani is going to change also. When Trump said that, he had a very strong point. But what I'm going to say in this situation is like deciding to get Maduro to, you know, give up power, and he did say that, like, you know, he needs to step down or whatever. But, of course, Maduro was not going to do that. I'm hearing people say, well, you know, Maduro is, I mean, this is allegedly. Most people think Maduro don't want to look weak by stepping down because Trump said so. So he's going to look like, you know, he put up opposition and Trump had to come get him. That was the only way it was going to happen. I don't know if that's the truth, but it's just allegedly. You know, that is another story out there that people are saying, like, you know, Maduro knew they were coming after him, but this of him just surrendering power, him staying there so they could come remove him, shows a sign of strength to a certain extent. I don't know if that is true. That is just a story that is kind of out there, you know.
Helicopter make its way from Brooklyn to lower Manhattan. Take a look at this. That is the now deposed, ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores.
Bombs were launched from 20 different bases and ships. The ground assault element chosen for the raid was 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta. And somewhat surprisingly, law enforcement from FBI agents from the hostage rescue team were also embedded alongside them to arrest Maduro.
Out there in the universe. But let's get back to what I'm really talking about. Is this justified, Trump going into Venezuela to take out Nicolas Maduro? I mean, his wife was picked up with him also. Does she have any role to play with this whole drug trafficking situation that is going on in Venezuela and all around the world? If you ask me, yes, going into another country to take out another president, that does raise an eyebrow. But when you tell me that president, he's running his country like parts of the military are part of his platoon. When I say platoon, like people who put in work for him, like that is a street term, like people putting in work for him, and the kind of work they're putting in is like, it has to do drug related type of deals, you know, moving stuff from one part of the world to another, you know, drug trafficking or whatever, drug trade. Africa back in the days, I'm Nigerian, so when I was in Nigeria, you know, this drug epidemic growing up, I'm a millennial, so I'm not going to tell you my age, but that could give you an estimate of what you think I am. So growing up in Nigeria, drugs was not really a big deal. Most thing you would find out is weed, and weed was still kind of frowned upon. You know, most people thought you were crazy if you were smoking weed. You know, so most African countries back in the days, these people were pure. They were eating organic food and just living life. They may be barefooted. You know, don't let the media fool you. People were living good lives. They may not have electricity, but everything else was fine because people, the population was not being poisoned. The people lived long lives. You know, they were not getting sick. They didn't have health insurance. The kids were not on drugs. They worked hard, physical labor, so they were physically strong and fit. They were not strung out on anything. They were not consuming alcohol. They were not They were not smoking weed. They were not, like, you know, the first time I, you know, smoked weed, I've tried weed before. The first time I did that was in America. When I was in Nigeria, that thought never came across my mind. I'm just saying. So, of course, I'm not saying America's to blame for me trying weed, but it's way more available here than it was in Nigeria or whatever, right? I no longer smoke, by the way, but I don't even know if I should be sharing that with you. But yeah, what I'm saying is, like, it's just easier to get here in America. And the fact that America is dealing in dollars, anybody who is a drug kingpin or is into that line of work, where do you think they want to get their product? America, because America, dollars, you know, American dollars basically shits on every other currency. So if I could get this money in dollars, that is where I want my products to go. But sadly, the products are not only coming to America, these products are going all around the globe. The same Africa I was talking about 10 years ago is no longer the same. I'm talking about kids are on drugs now. They're on cocaine, they're on crack, they're on fentanyl. The same kind of street drugs you find in America, it's all over Africa. And a lot of it could be traced back to Venezuela, allegedly. So the drug situation is not just America that this situation is affecting. It's affecting humanity all around the globe. So I know you're saying, well, Maduro is a president and Trump don't have the right to go into another country and take another president. But you tell me, what is humans to do when a dictator gets to a point of power where he's so powerful? His people have not been able to create a revolution to take him out of power, right? Are we just supposed to let this person live out their life if they live up to 120 years old, which human beings are capable of living? Are we supposed to let them rule for that long? You know, live out their life to 120? Or is, like, and if we do that, are they is death gonna stop that, or are they just gonna hand it over to their son? Is the power ever gonna stop? So, I'm not saying Trump has to be the one to intervene, but the fact that a lot of the drugs are coming into America, and fentanyl is killing people. I'm talking about, people are dying off this. If you're killing American population or American citizens, these are people who could potentially be paying taxes. I don't care if you like people or not. On a business standpoint, America is losing money every time they lose an individual, because that is a tax-paying citizen. Every time somebody dies, that is one person that is no longer paying taxes. And if you're just really killing them with drugs, you're not only just stopping them from paying taxes, you're reducing their level of productivity. So the level of productivity of a certain country is being squandered. You're killing the productivity level of a certain country. Not only reducing the money, because even the people that are not dying from the drugs, they're not as productive. They don't even want to go to work. Every money they get is to go spend it on whatever they're addicted to. So you're saying, well, it's not a war. Actually, it is, if you really think about it. Because you're killing people. You're not using guns. You're using drugs. You're destroying families. So, of course, Trump is not... Why should Trump intervene? I could hear somebody saying that in the background. Why does Trump have to be the one to do it? Why do America have to be the one to do it? People say, with bigger power comes bigger responsibility. Trust me, when you have more power, you have more responsibility. It's just what it is. America is in a position of power, so America has way more responsibility than other lower or third world countries, or as Trump will call them, shit-hole countries. Shit-hole countries. I mean, I'm just saying, if your country still uses a latrine and they have to shit outside, or you have to shit in a hole and bury the feces or whatever, well, it is a shit-hole country. They are shitting in a hole. I'm from Nigeria. I wouldn't call Nigeria a shit-hole country, but being that, you know, not every house in Nigeria has, you know, WC, like a water system or whatever, you know, you could consider it a shithole country. Like, not until we step the shit up. Like, we need to work on our country. I'm gonna say it. It's hard to say, but I'm gonna say it. Like Nigeria, all the money we're getting from oil, you would think the country is a better place, but it's not. Of course, corruption. Well, let's focus on Venezuela. So, Maduro, I'm not saying he's responsible for what is going on, but the fact that he's the president of that country, he has the capability and the power to put a stop to it. Stop, find a new line of work, dude. I know you could trade other things. I understand. The cocoa, you're in love with the cocoa. Remember that song? Yeah. But yeah, America does not want the coca in America anymore. We don't want that. We don't want fentanyl. We don't want any of it. Trump does not want any of it. He wants his people to be not high. He wants them to be sober. He wants them to want to go to work. He wants them to have great families. And if you are not going to do it, if other countries are not going to do it, somebody has to do it. President Joe Biden was giving them needles. I don't know if you remember that. Instead of doing something about the drug situation and trying to stop it from coming into America, no, he basically gave the drug addicts needles. Like, hey, dude, shoot up. At least you're not getting infected. Basically, he was encouraging their lifestyle. Trump is trying to stop it at the source. Think about it this way, right? If you're sick, right? You're sick. And somebody just giving you medications to kind of like mask the symptoms of your illness, right? Yeah, you may mask the symptoms for a little bit, but when you no longer have medications anymore, the symptoms will come right back, right? But if you really want to stop that situation, you want to stop it at the source. You want to find out the source of your illness, what is really causing you to feel all these symptoms. And if you could fix that situation, you have nothing else to worry about. So, Trump going over there and doing what he has to do, since Maduro is not listening, he's giving him a chance to do the right thing, but the man, he's being strong-headed, or maybe he doesn't want to look weak by stepping down, like that other story is allegedly saying. So he wants to be removed so he looks strong. I don't know if that is true or not, Yeah, so somebody has to do it, For that girl and that guy who is watching, a little kid who is watching all the drug trade in their neighborhood, people shooting each other over drug deals, innocent bystanders, stray bullets, catching somebody's kid who has no idea what is going on, somebody has to stand up for that person. You're not going to do it because you don't have the power to, you don't have the balls to. And even if you have the balls to, you don't have the capability to because you don't have the equipment, you don't have the drones, you don't have all the technology that America potentially has. And Trump is able to wield all that to help that little girl or that little boy who does not have the power. So, you may not feel like America has the right to do what they're doing, but somebody has to do it. And the fact that we have more power, we do have more responsibility. So, even though Trump said it was not going to be doing this, policing the rest of the world, but nah, dude. Imagine I'm here, strong guy, strong, buff, got guns and everything else, and I'm watching some dumbass pick on a little kid, bullying the kid, trying to smack the kid around, or trying to bully a girl, smack the girl around, and I'm just over here with all my, muscles and things that I have, and I could have intervened, but I just kind of watched it and let it be. What if I lived like that? Nah, I cannot do that. Trust me, if I was that person, I would intervene. So, Trump choosing to intervene in this drug situation, we've already closed the borders, he did something about that. So, come on, of course, it's in his nature to want to stop this situation with all these drugs coming into America. So, yeah, we're going to watch this. I'm going to follow up with this story and see what happens. I don't know if taking his wife it could be justified, but apparently they said if Nicolas Maduro is the president of the country, which is the face, but the wife apparently wields the power underneath, That's what, allegedly, she's that, she calls the shot. She's a shot caller. And that's what people are saying. I don't know how true that is, so. But of course, I'm sure Maduro is probably, if they are really as tight as they seem, of course, who wouldn't want to be with their wife or girlfriend and be, I don't know if they're being locked up in the same cell or anything, but I don't know. Or maybe it would have been better if she was on the outside, because if she was on the outside, she'd be able to fight for him. Maybe that's why they took her too, because they know if they took both of them, they wouldn't have access to all their, money, influence and all that. So, anyhow though, we're going to keep watching this, and we're going to see how this story goes. Thanks for watching the video. Like it if you like, share it if you want. Respect.
Create this. Shade on it. Shade on it. Take that shit. Now who tell you say you know the Listen close, dans les niais. Okay, you know the feel. Creator this, appreciator this. Shade on it, yeah. Take that shit, right on now, then later. Right everything that I need. I'm already know who my leader. Look at where the flows get neater. I'm sweet, I'm loving the taste. I'm loving so bright, I shine in the face. I'm guessing I cooked, I'm stacking my head. Cuts and slicing, I have my cake.
On the top, looking down from which I came to ground up. To the top, look at me now, I got the sound up. It's around on the block, it goes around like a clock. I'm on the pound, on the rock, I'm off the ground, I'm off the block. I keep it coming non-stop, like a watch or a clock. I don't stop on the rock, I rock and roll off the clock. Yeah, rockin', roll off the clock. It don't stop like a clock, I rock and roll off the clock. Hey,
creator this, appreciator this, shade on it, yeah. Take that shit, creator this, appreciator this, shade on it, yeah. Take that shit, creator this, appreciator this, shade on it, take that shit, man. Now who would tell me, say you know the listen close, you don't leave near. Okay, you know the creator this, appreciator this, shade on it, take that shit, man. Now who would tell me, say you know the